Not about spaceships.
Making Star Wars Show. Making Star Wars Show. Making Star Wars Show. Making Star Wars Show.
It's not about spaceships.
Hello, am I muted?
No, I can hear you. I'll jump in here now.
Yeah, I'm getting a message from the program saying I am muted. But now it's gone.
I can hear you.
Yeah, that doesn't.
You're a little. What's the word I'm thinking of? A little radio-y.
Really?
But no one can hear it. It's just I'm being picky.
Yeah.
I'm being very curtsy.
Yeah. Who knows? So I want to, on the top of the show, apologize to anyone who was in the chat for the earlier show and was like, "What the hell?" So Star Wars Santa could hear us, and I want to apologize to Star Wars Santa who messaged me during a very cool thing. So later on today, at some point, when YouTube processes the video and all that jazz, we have an interview with Ahmed Best that we did today, and it was a pretty cool conversation. And I got to ask him a few questions about Jar Jar related things that we always wanted to know. It was really good.
I talk nonstop, and I never let anyone get a word in. So if you're looking forward to that show, tune in.
It's like yeah, and I did feel bad because we had a good conversation, and I kind of lost track of time, and I had a question from Santa, Meg, and my son, but I didn't get to throw those out there, so I apologize to you guys. I let you down, but I tried, but. Nothing is going to be as big as of the wrath of my son. It's going to be the most stern, because he was like comes up to me last night. He's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm interviewing Ahmed Best, who played Jar Jar," and he goes, "It's pretty cool." I'm like, "Thanks, dude." I'm all, and then he's all, "What questions do you have?" And like I read through them, and he was just like, he didn't know what any of it meant. He's like, "Yeah, you know what? You should just ask him. How do you do that voice? Just ask him how you do that voice." I was like, okay, so I wrote that down, and that was supposed to be the ones. How do you do that voice? Luke Danger, age 7. But yeah,
he's like, Red Bull, it gives me wings, and Jar Jar Binks' voice.
But it was pretty rad though. I mean, we the conversation, as you'll see later on today, was, I felt like I was talking to William Gibson writing a play or directing a play. You know, it was a very, very, very technologically driven conversation, but I really enjoyed it.
Missed opportunity, so I'm not spoiling anything. I just wanted to see if I can get him into a fight with Aaron Sorkin over adding technology to plays, and see if Sorkin's all old school. When Tarantino argues with James Cameron about digital film.
Yeah.
Like, no, with no technology in our plays.
Is Sorkin the one who did the Newsroom?
Yeah.
Yeah. God, I have such a like a love-hate relationship to that dialogue, where everybody thinks they're so witty and everything is witty, but it's not dynamic, it's constant, and it kind of want to choke people when I watch it, which I don't have that thing.
My buddy, he lives out in LA. He works in film. He can't stand Tarantino because I can hear his voice. I'm like, isn't that what you want? It's either a soulless corporate made film, or I can hear the artist's voice. Find something to complain about.
No,
was it entertaining? Did you hear some shit no one else would have wrote? Then they did their job. That's how I feel about it. He did Few Good Men, the play, and then that was his first film too. And so, I mean, among many other things, his last film, Trial of the Chicago Sevens on Netflix, really good. You actually get to see the Fantastic Beast dude act like a fucking human. What's his face? He talks. You
know what? I'm pretty sure he changed his IMDb just to Fantastic Beast dude.
Is it FB dude? F.B dude? Yeah.
FB dude.
I'm following that guy. Son of a bit. I didn't even know.
Looking for a J.O. Bud? What? Anyways, sorry, that's just how it kind of reads. We used to go on Craigslist and Craigslist personals. Oh, that was I wish that was still around. I would make a whole YouTube show that was just reading Craigslist personals. Mom out of town looking for J.O. Bud. But anyways, today really quickly, Jesse, if you get home in time, dude, I'll throw you in. Let me know if you're free and you want to get in. Yesterday I talked about this briefly about what was going down at the train yard and how Jesse was right. So it's good that Jesse said he'd be home in a bit because this is a tribute to Jesse. Now, this is the Mandalorian set yesterday. And right there you can see that is all of that roped off stuff from last week that we talked about. And looks like, and then now you can see that they are building the foundation of a structure or of
That
a
lumber
building.
ain't cheap.
Yeah,
That's all I can tell you. I've seen lumber prices. It's nuts.
Going to be honest with the audience here. I'm definitely getting the vibe that they have created these sets in 3D space and realized that they can rotate them and then won't be able to see anything. So I'm thinking that we may not be able to see very much of this set after this building goes up, because I think that they're kind of giving us the backside more than what they used to. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I hope that I didn't just give them the best dumb idea ever. They're really smart. I'm sure they thought of it. But yeah, pretty fascinating though. Just to see like the set builds go up and all that stuff. And yeah, they are filming Mandalorian right now over at Manhattan Beach, and they are not filming exteriors here. I am a little curious because I heard through the grapevine that there is another location for some exterior stuff being used for this season, but I don't think it's like this. Like it's like a place where they're going to film all kinds of stuff. I think it's sort of like what they did with the Robert Rodriguez episode of Mandalorian, where they filmed like up in the hills kind of thing. So curious though, because I'm starting to hear interesting things about this next season of the show, but it's so early; it's just getting started. But yeah, I'm definitely excited that we are going to have Mandalorian at least coming back. We have a lot of cool stuff before Mandalorian, but I'm starting to hit the point now. Like honestly, like after season 2, I was like, that could have been the end. I would have been happy with it. But now we're so far away from it. I'm starting to miss it a little bit. I'm a little bit like, I want to see more Mandalorian. I want to see what's going on there. And as my my brain only has so much real estate for daydreaming about Star Wars, and it's all been in that Kenobi and Book of Boba space. That whenever and Cassian, and then all of a sudden I remember, oh, there's this. This is a thing. And then like yesterday we talked about the Ahsoka show for a bit. That's down the road with that potential casting. And it's like, oh yeah, you know what? I kind of miss old Mando. Din Djarin with that stupid name. What are you doing, Din? You know what I mean? Din.
Yeah, it's the Star Wars names. They're entering that area. I mean, look, they've been there for a little bit, but I don't think the first and last name need to flow into one name. I don't think that needs to work for everyone. Imagine if it was always Han Solo, Han Solo, Han Solo. The repetition of that also gets tiresome after a while.
Yeah. For sure. No, it does. And it's almost an expectation. Like a lot of the names that we have. I mean, we could probably do a whole episode analyzing and looking at names, because it's funny because like when you think about it, like Han Solo, if there was never a New Hope and we never knew that character and it was a new show coming out and today's spoiler report was from somewhere was there's this new character and his name is Han Solo, people would be like, what? Half of the people would be like, what is he? Is he from the Alps? Is his name Hans? The other would be like, what is he? Is he some kind of Asian guy? Oh, and Solo, that's so on the nose. And it's like, and these names, like I remember when Alon Sleazbagano leaked, derided people hated it. And I'm just like, you're kind of missing the point, man. This is a Greedo. Like, you're gonna get mad about Greedo.
My favorite is when people complain about unobtainium and it's a real fucking phrase.
Yeah,
Like
right.
that's the one that kills me. It's fucking stupid. I'm like, what saga have you been watching? You know, I don't know. Like Dantooine, Tatooine, Matt Tooine, Ralph Tooine. Like it's a lot of Tooines. I don't know, man. It's people. It's funny what gets on some people's nerves for no reason. I don't know.
But when you look at it though,
Reuse.
Echo Based Network says, "What's up, guys? How's everyone doing?" Hello, Echo Based Network, a whole network of
One dude.
one person in our chat. Yeah, I was like, it is a network. I'm not trying to belittle it.
Oh, okay.
But I am clearly, unless you guys are all huddled around the computer right now, I apologize.
You want to talk about petty shit that annoys you? I'll bring one up. When an artist of one, decides to call themselves something Studios.
Oh, right.
I hate that. I'm like, it's you, man. Like, fine, come up with a name. Like, I call myself Sketchcraft because people can't fucking remember Rob Duanius. They go Dunas, Duanus. It's never any cycle of self, it's pity.
Say it correctly for me right now.
Duane, yes. Right?
Dwayne, yes.
But I've told you that 3 times. You won't remember. I wouldn't remember.
No,
you know what? Sketchcraft people remember.
It was actually, well, yeah, that's true. But it was also because like you said it really fast and said, don't even remember it, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay.
Because I gotta go with it was funny going to a family reunion in the 80s and watching my family members make fun of their own last name. Like I sat through that once. Anyway, but if it was Sketchcraft Studios and it's one dude, I just laugh at it because I'm like, it's not forget studios, plural. Like, where's the other one? Like,
always they're doing like documentaries and but look at like George's conventions for names though. They're either really bizarre or they're sort of pretty or on the nose. Like Padme. You know what I mean? It's just a good name.
Dark Father.
But yeah,
Sorry, Darth Vader.
Yeah, you got your Darth Vaders, and I mean,
Minch.
One thing too is that if they could, remember this guy's name is Luke Skywalker, which is playing off of the more Buck, like a guy named Buck, a guy named Luke,
or Lucas's last name, but watching Yeezy figure that one out. I'm like, oh great, bro nerds finally figured out some obvious shit that's been around for 40 fucking years. Like, like all right, genius.
But like for the really dumb characters, I'm trying to send Jesse the link right now.
Reese, Rainforest.
Well, like that stuff. Like as we started to move away from where there were so many characters and products coming out and characters needed names. Obviously, it changes a little bit. Okay, I sent him the link. It changes a little bit at that point. But Greedo, I mean, he's a fucking dude with a green snout, and he's greedy. His name is Greedo. It's like it's easy. But I feel like
the Hutt would have been named Greedo.
But I feel like if he came out today, his name would be like Grespian Zenklar or something weird. It would be like, it's like, no, he's fucking just Greedo, dude. And I'm okay with it.
That's why I love DuckTales, man. That's why I love DuckTales. Doesn't matter if they made DuckTales in the 80s. They make DuckTales now. It's still going to be fucking crazy duck puns. That's why I love it. You can be consistent and never get tired of it.
Allison brings up something. She's all, Naboo means wisdom. And there was also a story that I never was able to conclude if it was connected. But there was the story of this person who used like sled dogs in Antarctica or something like that. And one of the dogs' name was Naboo, which probably from wisdom. But there was sort of a connection that George Lucas was aware of this story. And I've always been curious if that was where he got it from. Hello, Mr. Jesse.
Means home.
Hello.
How's it going, dude?
Good, man. Good. I got no work tonight or in the morning, so
nice.
It's gonna be fun.
Unemployment, love it.
No. We don't have any ships in.
I understand.
Yeah,
you don't have to hide.
So you,
I mean, you're already trying to duck underneath the bottom of the screen there, but you know.
My favorite movie is Iron Man 3 because of the doc scene and all the
You know-
stuff that goes on there.
You know, if you want me to send you some phone books to sit, you know, we can get you a little higher.
I'm gonna
look at
grow.
Jesse's.
I'm
We're-
gonna
we're-
grow. I'm gonna take my insurer. I'm gonna grow.
We're gonna we're gonna
Like
still
Hulk
a
Hogan,
booster.
just get some back surgeries. You can put on 5 inches. Like,
Exactly.
Yeah,
Extendo skeleton.
what to still Jesse a booster seat from
Dennis Lawson's got like a bunch of them. He's not even using.
Camping chair, so it rides a little low.
Yeah, they had to use 3 of them to get him to see over the X-wing. You know,
Oh, I imagine.
let's see. I don't like that today.
we're all like right up on one another. What's up?
Yeah, it's
Hey, who are you?
yeah.
Hey.
I'm never gonna get used to this camera switching stuff on this one.
I only bring it up, Jesse, because when the chat comes up, then it's just it's just your headphones peeking over the chat.
I know.
It's the funniest, cute. Like if we get you little rabbit ears, it'd be really cute.
Oh, I should have got the ones from the Great Wolf Lodge. They give you free wolf ears.
You could wear those cat ears the streaming girls wear.
we could get him the
Basically, what they are.
we could get him a little fence graphic to put on the bottom, and it could be like that guy in Home Improvement where you just saw his face like this for
Wilson.
Wilson. Yeah, you could be our Wilson.
You know, Tim, there was a time when you got it.
God. I won't go off on a rant, but I fucking hate that show. Fuck you, JTT. You want to fight? Where you at, JTT? Kidding.
Sitting on the beach, earning
we-
20%.
We had this in high school. We had this friend, and he was very interesting, to say the least. He's crazy, and he got a girlfriend for the first time, and he comes and tells us about it, and it's actually real. He actually did have this girlfriend, and this time, and he's like, so how's it going, dude? Like, how'd you guys meet? What are you guys into? And he goes. He talked like this is the guy I told you guys about who talked like Beavis forever. Like he started talking like Beavis and Butthead because he thought it was funny, but then he really started talking like that. And he's all,
Right.
we both like JTT. Like JTT. What are you talking about? JTT. Jonathan Taylor Thomas. I'm like, oh. So
Did you ever see the Jonathan Taylor Thomas when he was on In Living Color, and they did Home Alone, but it was Michael Jackson trying to get into?
Oh, was that him? I didn't know that was
it was
him.
Jonathan
that
Taylor
was
Thomas
hilarious.
playing the. Yeah.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah, I'm kind of. It's kind of weird that that show went away. Like
I
I
don't
just
think
feel
you
like
could do half the skits now.
yeah, I mean, but that's the whole thing. Is like I mean they were just so like oh, we do it whatever we want. People would get mad. They didn't care. They just did it. But yeah, you're probably right. But they should bring it back.
Too large a cast.
Yeah.
You know, when you have that many people, then they got the dancers, they got everyone, and everyone was doing movies, so they got to get paid more. Then
Yeah,
Damon Wayans leaves, and Jim Carrey. Yeah, I mean, just
J-Lo
the
was a
cast.
dancer right there too.
Because
She
you know
was
what
from
what
first
was
season.
never funny? Mad TV. That shit was just never funny.
Oh,
It had
my
its
buddy,
moments.
my friend, was it Newman doing Star Wars? Hey, we did Star Wars, right? I could watch that all day long. Like, never gets old.
yeah.
Bobby Lee is pretty good from that show.
Bobby Lee is yeah. You're right.
And they did.
I'm gonna ease up on it a little bit.
Was it the playing the dozens Wheel of Fortune or something? Like Jamie Foxx came out there. Yeah, that was a good one too.
Yeah. But I gotta say, comparatively speaking, Living Color was pretty good. I wonder if that holds up though. I haven't seen it in years. But what do we got in the chat? We got anything, and if anybody has anything they want to say in the old chat, by all means, hit us up today because it's kind of one of those weird days. Oh, look, Jesse is Wilson now. Star Wars Santa says, saw that the union vote is starting today over going on strike. How much stuff is going to get postponed if this happens? And how long can the studios hold out?
I'm asking for a friend, not for my elves who might unionize.
I have to be honest. I am very greedy and I want Star Wars. I hope they strike.
But this is how we got Donald Trump, bro. Like, remember the last time they striked, and this is why The Apprentice got and all these fucking shows came over because there was nothing to fucking fill the
on
void.
us.
What's up? What's next though? Us? I had to say it.
No,
I wanted to bring back. Look, my whole life
the royal we.
I wanted to bring back Double Dare for college campuses. All right,
Same.
like that's my fucking show. Like,
I
Double Dare for grown-ups. I want them to pick the nose, but then just horrible jackass stunts.
I played.
I'm behind that. Yeah.
I watched Double Dare on YouTube with my kids this week. Actually, I was like, I put it on and I knew all the answers. I felt so fucking brilliant.
But you couldn't get up the chocolate slide.
Oh,
you couldn't do it. Like no matter how
Coming to your
hard
city soon, the adult Double Dare tour.
Dude, I'm gonna tell you something with the chocolate slide. Hold on. With the chocolate slide, you got one shot. Like an Eminem song. You got one shot, buddy. If you go down that slide, you try to get back up, it's over.
Wherever contestant's already a wiener. I mean, a wiener.
I would be, if they brought that show back though, it would destroy my life, because when I was watching it, those kids were driving me crazy. Like it was like, put your fucking hand in the nose and grab it. And they're like,
let me tell you how you make it even better.
Yeah, you're on Double Dare. Let
me tell you how you make it even better than college Double Dare. You make Double Dare in Japan and let the Japanese make it. Like Japanese Double Dare for adults.
There is like a show like that, isn't there?
Oh, every one of their shows is like that. What are you talking about? I need the branding. I need the slime.
I got it. College Double Dare hosted by Casey Anthony.
Oh,
sorry.
And that silence is how it would go around the world.
Hello, I'm here.
No, but no. To go back to the question is, or to what Sandra brought up. Yeah, I think they should strike. I hope they do. I hope they get what they deserve. And I don't mean that like that sounds like bad. Like, I hope you get what you deserve. No, I hope that they are fairly compensated. There's a lot of times, and and there are reasons. So I'm not saying that it's as black and white as it can seem. But you really could have an industry with a lot more people in it and a lot of people not so overworked. You know what I mean? Like you can, but they honestly, it is about getting, it seems like it's about getting a budget approved at this. And, oh, you can make this show for X amount of money. Hell yeah, we'll buy it. Netflix buy it, whatever it happens to be, Disney Plus, whatever. But the cost of that is pretty immense, and I think the model of production that we have is from before we got to these streaming services of never-ending content. Like a lot of these people would get gigs for there would be like seasons of shows though, and they would work for, and then you would have a little bit of downtime, rush time. It pretty much never ends now if you want to keep on working.
I was gonna say, unless you were on Cheers, it ran like 22 seasons. I mean, MASH, those shows ran forever. But yeah, look, they need to work this out, and I think that whole like, oh, we can just get on by and no one's gonna notice, that obviously didn't work out. I mean, they settled with ScarJo over trying to get away with not paying whatever she had deal, like that. That's just when that happened, I'm like, this is like Eisner shenanigans. This is late 90s. Let's find a way to skim all the dimes and dollars on my way out kind of shit. I'm like, they just got a new guy. This is something someone does on his way out. Like, what are they doing? But I hope they just solve this problem, because we've had a dearth of content because of Pandy. Like, we don't need this too. And I fear what fills the replacement. Is everything going to be the Logan Paul fucking channel now?
Oh,
like, they're going to put all these fucking YouTubers on there.
Logan Paul for governor.
Well, everyone they seem to try to push, it ends up being like a pedophile or something like that.
Allegedly, Jesse.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, excuse me.
Thank you.
So somewhere somebody's like, Jesse said what? Get the lawyers. We're going after Jesse specifically. But so on Talk Podcast has gone too far this time. But yeah, no, but I mean, it is weird though. I mean, it is weird because I have so many friends who work in production, and it's just like nonstop working your ass off. And then I'll know someone who like I literally feel like they have 3 jobs. And then I'll have another friend who can't get one in the same like position because one person has 3 because that's what you have to do. And to be in LA, especially if you're working in Southern California, living here is fucking ridiculous. And if I didn't have roots here, I'd fucking take off in a second and be much happier with a lot better place to live and everything,
But you wouldn't be able to go down to Mando sets and see walls, right? Like
True.
lumber
or concrete.
And yeah, and the tacos, man. I don't think I can leave the tacos. I'm pretty into the tacos here.
You know what? This is white bread country, but we have a thriving Hispanic community, and but the best taco food's all in the taco trucks at this point. There's like you don't go to any store, they're ripping off the white people here, but you go to the taco trucks, they got their shit down. So
yeah, yeah. And Allison says, as a former union member, I support my brothers and sisters, and I support anybody who is trying to get what they deserve. On a side note, 2 things is I did a lot of college work in labor studies. Know way too much about it for what my focus was, but it's what I had to do. My mentor, hate to use that word, but my mentor, that's what she did. So a lot of my assisting was in that kind of stuff. 2 things, or 1 thing I think everybody should know is I see a push to work from home. Everybody wants to work from home. And I read a lot of studies about the first people working from home, and things haven't changed. And for those people, you work 30% more. Same thing with contractors. Oh, I make so much money as a contractor, blah, blah, blah. When it all evens out, you work your ass off. And then with the downtime and the stress, you do not actually make more money.
you don't want my life. Like I try to tell people, like let me tell you, I had way more free time going into an art department, even art. Going into art department, we had set breaks. They had to give us a lunch. We had to leave by a certain time because they don't want to pay 13, 20 different people overtime. What I do now, man, like, luckily I was trained for it because my father had the weirdest fucking life, so I'm used to this. But watching, like, my wife have to work from home the last year, she was like, we've been together forever. And she's like, just now discovering what it's like to be me. I'm like, yeah, it's all the fucking time. Never ends, And she's like, well, and now we can't even, like, step outside. like I used to go hiking. But now I got like 100 fucking people on that hill because everyone wants to go hiking now, and none of them are vaccinated. So it's like, well, I can't go up there now. So I got the Wii Fit, and I hurt my ankle running in place. Like it's too much in one spot. You can't move around. It's not like VR. So I got to do the VR in the backyard now. But it's just working from home. You work way more hours, and you don't take care of yourself but it's the hardest part. You have to train beyond baiting and wearing regular clothes. You have to like train to eat good food. Or sometimes eat it all. I've seen people like become emaciated because they stop eating when they're working from home because they're afraid to spend money on food, or they just forget, or they just live off junk food. It's not easy, and it's not for everyone.
Those things.
Yeah.
I said it was a combination of those things for some people.
Yeah, for some people, it's always like a mixture. You can't work from home though if you got to set up a shot or get photography, B-roll footage. I mean, like,
I'm not trying to say that. I'm talking. I was just doing like a side note about how basically what tends to happen is the working class comes into an agreement for something at a specific point in time, and then the stage is set. And then the world changes and technology changes and how things go, the workflows, everything is different. But those same expectations are there, and yet you get less. And that's what has kind of happened in
Hollywood. You do more, but you're making less. I mean, that's what happened when I started in t-shirts. When I say t-shirts, I was working on licensed apparel. So my first project was Spider-Man 3, right? My last project in t-shirts was Civil War, Marvel Civil War. So when I started, we were expected to do 1 completed t-shirt design a day. There's 13 people in the room, 1 a day. When I left, I was doing anywhere from 5 to 20. depending on how dumb the shirts had to be. And
Yeah.
it was to sell the same amount of shirts to Walmart. The spots on the wall, the numbers they were buying is the same. They just demand to see more. And this is a thing where, and I mean, I was going nuts, and I'm pretty good at that work, but there was a point where they wouldn't have us leave. They just wouldn't have us because we were working with a New York office, and the New York office is like, well, we have to leave early because of subways, but you guys can keep working while we're gone and cover our work. And I'm like, we're in Southern California. Well, you think it's easy getting anywhere in Southern California at 5 o'clock? Like,
You can't get anywhere.
4 o'clock, 3:30. Like, good luck. So this is the problem, and they're making more money than ever. You're producing more work than ever, and you're not getting. We didn't get bonuses. We didn't get pay increases. They took the money that we made them, and they bought every other t-shirt company.
Yeah.
So now you have a t-shirt company. I'll say it. Mad Engine straight up owns fucking like 4 of the 5 of the biggest t-shirt companies ever. Now they own Mighty Fine, Fifth Son. They bought Jinx. They bought everything, man. Like, and I told my friends, I'm like, that was our money. They just took what we made them and bought more shit for them. So I don't know where that puts me on the capitalist scale, but how is that fair? You know, I mean, rent went up. Everyone got kids in that time. People, I don't know, man. This is like, it's not a sustainable model. So people really have to have a way to I'm going to go right back to that union and organize. They got to have a way to, if the government's not going to fucking protect you, then you got to have a way to collectively stop them. Sorry.
Were they doing that under guys that were just trying to have more options? Is what they would tell you in the beginning?
No, they were dicks. Like, we weren't even allowed to look at, so they got some, it was a previous owner, this guy from South Africa. He sold it to this company that they basically print the shirts. All the shirts you buy, they're the number one out of like India. This company bought it. And then these guys were like, we couldn't even look at them when they'd come in the room. We had to like the owner's fine, but the owner's dad, the guy who owned everything, we were not allowed to look. We had to move out their way, and they'd call us their children. They'd like, oh, these kids, they're like our kids. They don't do anything, like for real. And like I get real. I'm the guy who's like, who these motherfuckers? Like I don't do well with that. I literally went. That was my Office Space moment. I'm gonna fucking take a sledgehammer to this place, you know.
Yeah.
And they bought. The meanest thing I ever saw them do was they got this building and they had parking spots for the corporate people, but everyone else, including all the artists who made the money, had to park their car in the Kohl's parking lot and hope they didn't get towed.
Yeah.
And so the owner had 2 Lambos sitting in a spot, you know?
Well, where's he supposed to put his Lambos? What do you want him to do?
You can't put it over at the Kohl's.
What do you want him to do? Put it at Cole?
Lambo 1, Lambo
Come on.
2.
You got a $3,000 suit right now. You're in a $500 suit. What do you want?
It's a Lambo dyad.
Yeah, it's a Lambo Dyad, dude. That, you know, that one's got the shirt off and that one's like stunned.
Ray and Kylo. This one's Ray, this one's Kylo. What do you want? You want Ray and Kylo down the street? Come on.
So I always like, well, I can walk away. I'd rather not walk away from a career. I mean, what is these people, if they're making Netflix money, but they're getting paid peanuts, you know what I mean? And they got to be compensated. And you know, it's not like, and this is where they got them by the balls. The workers got, because it's not like, oh, we're not going to need shows for the next 20 years, bro. Only thing you have now is to produce content.
Yeah.
I was shocked when Disney bought Fox. It was under the assumption, I was told from some people that were in on that fucking deal, was that they want a lot of that content to put on their streaming site so they can fill it up with, you know, evergreen shit. Where's all the evergreen shit? Where are all the fucking Fox shows? Where are the Married with Children's? And like, where is all that content that was supposed to be up? They put Simpsons in the wrong aspect ratio, and that's it. I'm like, where is everything? It's taken them forever. So I don't know, man. Like, it's between that and the fact that they need more content, but they don't want to pay anybody. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. No. The history. I mean, on a side note, once again, of white collar labor, like I've talked about before, started as white collar labor, for instance, was considered women's work, believe it or not. Yeah. And to work in an office was the opposite of masculine to, you know, really to men back in like 1900. And But you end up happening, you was they said, hey, leave, don't have a farm, leave that behind. Don't own your own business. Come and work for us in a corporation, and you're going to get retirement. And by everybody coming in, we're going to be able to set you up. But even that has historically now been a switcheroo because you don't stay at the same place anymore. So you have people being told on one hand, you should be happy you get what you get, but you don't get what you used to get. The
day I quit this job stunned the people I worked with because they know me for so long. I have a Cintiq, right? And it's a monitor you draw on, right? And I got it back in 2008 because I was getting carpal tunnel.
Mm-hmm.
So from pressing too hard with the pencil, because I would never learn how to properly draw, right? But when I'd go into work, I'd have to have another Cintiq because otherwise I'm drawing on a tablet and looking at it never works. It's like, imagine not being able to look where you're drawing. It doesn't make any sense. They didn't want to get me one, so I bought my own. And when that one was breaking, I have two Cintiqs now. That one was the cable broke. I was like, look, I've been making you enough money. Can you replace the Cintiq? I don't want to keep it, but can you replace it at work? Because I've already made you money with it. You've seen what I've done, right?
Yeah,
I got the fucking highest shirt. So they were like, no, you don't need that to do your job. I'm like, you have to spend something around here. What's your tax write-off? It's fucking, you won't. So I got to spend another $2,000 of my money, which I didn't have, right? Like, to go and bring in stuff to make you more money. I said, you know what? Gotcha. So walked over there, literally picked my shit up and walked out, Yeah. And I just wired out the front fucking door, and I just never looked back. But I'm not proud of that. That isn't like,
no,
it should never come to that. It's not a professional thing to do, but they can't. I mean, it's like when you hear teachers having to buy supplies for their students because we just can't give them fucking pencils and paper. They break a system to claim the system don't work while they take all the money from the system. And it just, you've seen it now at the post office. So it's just,
I got a note from my son's teacher saying we're really low on supplies this year, blah, 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 blah. And so I went down to Dollar Tree and just bought a bunch of the stuff that was on the list, gave it to her. You would have thought I bought her a Lambo with a spot, not down at Kohl's. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? It's, it's that kind of passing the butt kind of stuff onto people who should be prized. And that's why it's important that people unionize. If you are in a union throughout your lifetime, it does suck. It can suck being in a union. They'll make you strike sometimes when you shouldn't have to. Like my father works at one place, sometimes has to strike because of what's going on in Northern California at a different place. Like, and it's just like, and it sucks, but you will make 30% more throughout your lifetime if you're in a union.
I worked in a union briefly for UCSD right before I got the t-shirt job. Okay. I was happy to stay at UCSD in that union for the rest of my life while I continue my art at home. Problem was, I found I was in the union, but not really protected by it. It's a weird situation. I worked at a copy shop and they're like, oh, technically you're in it, but you're not in it. Because we're not part of the college. So we're like our own thing. And I was like, all right, I didn't know how it worked out. But I told my friend who was older, I'm like, just stay here. She's like, I don't like to stay here. You need it. Now, the only reason why she has income as a retiree is because she stayed in the union, And so like, I get people don't want, I gotta dues and shit. I would give anything to have an artist fucking union that I could fucking collectively put into at this point. So that when we work on a video game that does quite well and they decide to scrap us because they may need extra money from a lawsuit that I'm just hypothetically putting things out there that we could go, no, you can't just shut us down. You know what I mean? Like, and put everyone else on a different project and get rid of all the fucking talent. You know what I mean? And keep 3 fucking people so that you can reap in another $200 million paycheck. Like having some kind of bargaining power helps. And I wish, like, I'm not saying like, remember in the 80s, they used to work in like a union episode, like A-Team, like there'd always be like one of those shows.
Yes.
Here's the union episode. We never really saw that in Star Wars, right? Like, cause Lucas hates you. Does he hate the union? I think he hates the unions.
You know what? I feel, I'm guessing here based off of some historical knowledge. I'm going to say that Lucas it's probably one of his more hypocritical moments.
Right.
When you look at when you end up with ILM ending up in that kind of visual effects mill form to make the Star Wars prequels. And when you end up farming things out to India to people that are, you know what I mean, massively underpaid to do the 3D conversions and stuff like that,
or
even
Taiwan
visual
with all the
effects.
animation.
Yeah, and for the record, I think I could be completely wrong, but I've heard things like CG, who does a lot of the Clone Wars, a lot of the Star Wars stuff, is a much better form of that setup than you will find holistically in the industry. But I could be misspeaking.
Well, I only bring it up because when I was reading Rinsler, he's going back about, and the unions charged me all this money, and I can't believe it. And I'm just like, what? I don't know, man. Like the gaffer needs dental. You know what I mean? You want the script girl to have access to, you know, medical needs too, bro. You know, like, I get it, but something's got to. I mean, you can't. It's just. I just feel like this country is just. I feel like the world right now with this is the way like the mall went in the 80s. Remember, the mall was like this big thing of commerce and everyone will go there, and now it's 50%, 90% off signs, cash for gold, pawn your used cell phones. No one really goes there to do commerce. Just old people are there trying to exercise and not get COVID.
Yeah.
Like it's a sad state, the mall. Like it's literally, but that's what I feel like I've seen everything turn into at this point. So, I mean, not to bring it down but you know, I was working on Star Wars shirts for this company, you know, and like, having a company tell you to make Star Wars sell, when I'm like, shouldn't Star Wars just be doing that? Like why do I have to figure out how to save Lucas fucking film, man? Like, I mean, like, their merch. Perhaps if they make a great movie like the Avengers, which was my actual argument, then we could just put Star Wars on the fucking shirt and it would sell. I wouldn't be over here photoshopping Vader into fucking Six Flags fucking photos.
to hit on Allison's like point with, I think Lucas, what it came down to with the unions on the original Star Wars in England was that the rules were so rigid and they weren't very well written. And so in that way, you ended up with, wrong guy. You ended up with a situation where they would be in the middle of something, they would just drop their shit and walk away. And it's like, you know, with better planning, you can be like, the production, whatever, calls 10 minutes to break, and then you know what's going on. They were just completely like so rigid that it was counterintuitive to actually getting things done well.
That's what I've heard Lucas talk about. I heard James Cameron say similar things when he was angry 80s James Cameron. The funny part is, in between those two Americans going over to England sandwich, in the middle, hello, Jesse, in the middle, you get Ridley Scott coming to LA to shoot Blade Runner and not getting along with any of the American unions either. Like, it is the strangest. That Dangerous Days documentary is quite interesting to watch.
Well, that's what it's like when you, you know, I come from a very blue collar background, and what you end up having, unfortunately, and especially after the 80s, which is a whole different historical thing, but after the 80s is like, you'll just hear like something bad, and then therefore that's bad. This bad thing means everything is bad. It's like, no, it means that not all unions are the same. Yeah, some unions have been corrupt, classically have been corrupt. And also, it's just people. It's a union of people. And that tells you everything that you need to know. But it's like, but literally, if you live in a democracy, you do have to believe that people coming together and unionizing is kind of an important thing for, you know, a house divided onto itself cannot stand, right? And,
well, then we're just in fiefdom. It's feudalism, brutal feudalism, bro. Like, that's it, brutal feudalism. Like, they just get everything, and I suppose we die. And okay, I mean, but they want us to buy. How are we supposed to keep buying everything if we don't make no money? That's the one I'm trying to figure out. If no one makes any money, how are they supposed to buy all the fucking goods?
That was Fordism. That was Fordism. Fordism said, Henry Ford, he was kind of a bastard too, but you get my point. The point is, pay everyone enough to buy a Ford, to be able to afford a Ford. And today that's not on the That's not
Now they're
on
like,
the
you
spreadsheet.
can't pay for rent, and if you're homeless, we'll take your shit. It's
Yeah.
like, I'm like, you guys, this seems like the making of a Star Wars movie. You just run everything in the ground far enough, people are gonna revolt. Like,
Well, that whole Disneyland employee
yeah,
who was living in her car, that the living in the car thing, I'm not gonna say that's common, but being that close to it is really common. They for as much money as you make at a place like Disneyland. And yeah, it's very, we live in a very, very strange time in that way. And what I don't like is that like people will assume, oh, you're a pinko, you're a communist, and you're gonna go right there. But these things tend to kind of the pendulum swings very drastically the other way when something gets pushed too far. And I mean, not that I'm an expert, but look at what happened with Russia and the last czars. You know what I mean? You look at what you end up getting, and then you end up moving into Stalin, and it's scary and it's horrible. And that's kind of that's what I'm kind of afraid of with all of this stuff that we've had recently. Because the weird thing is the 401k kind of plan that was the carrot on the stick. You'll get retirement if you join the corporation, has become the 401k plan. But what you end up having are people who have all of their 401k and money in stocks for retirement. So when the stock market goes up, they're like, oh, I'm good. But they don't see that it's a giant train going up their ass and ripping out their insides, coming out their mouth. But that money keeps coming up the ass, and they think it's good, but it's actually very unhealthy. It's not a very stable.
I almost
society.
wonder in a storyboarding group if you could get away with telling a moralistic sequel trilogy, right? Beyond just I'm a good Jedi, I'm a bad Jedi, I want to imprison people. What if after the Empire fell, things got really good? They got too good.
Mm-hmm.
And so like Leia and all these people, they're doing quite well, but everyone else, like all the power, money kind of went to the center of the galaxy, but everyone there is doing well, and everyone else is in shit fucking creek. And so
So
they
you still have your elites then?
and so, well, yeah, I mean, you always got a group of people. I mean, look at those people in the 60s who just became yuppies, and then now they're in a position where they're like, hey, I got a yacht. Why don't you work hard? like, oh, great. Wonderful.
Well, that's the thing is like when you actually have a healthy middle class, you have a healthy upper class and a healthier lower class at the same time, because trickle down is a lie, but the way that glow kind of that sheen goes up and down, it really does help. And middle class is really gone today.
this is why
I don't have many.
I know you're not a fan of Batman Begins, my friend, but my favorite scene in Batman Begins is when Bruce goes to that bar and sees the gangster guy. He goes, "What do you know about suffering? You fucking Bruce Wayne. You don't know it. You don't know what the dirt is. Like, you don't come in here with your fucking pension and your trust fund and tell me what fucking life is." like that. It's one of the best scenes I've ever seen in a Batman film, because someone finally told him you're a spoiled rich kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
true.
I love the movie.
Yeah,
I love the movie. Just not as a Batman movie.
We're making progress. Before it was absolute dog shit.
No, it was never dog
I gotta
shit.
time lapse these conversations.
It's just I just want to see Batman do Batman. I'm Batman. That's what I want.
He did that.
Yeah, you know what I mean. I want that all the time.
Every scene.
Every scene.
You should see Lego Batman. He's got a Bat merch gun. Like,
I want batarangs. Stuff like that going on all the time.
I just hope that our union doesn't strike anytime, because I don't want to be able to see that happen.
Is it on the table for you guys right now?
No.
Okay, good.
No, they work out contracts because we got to keep the stuff coming in. They can't afford to have a strike, and because it'd be the complete up West Coast to Alaska to Hawaii.
Yeah,
you already got 61 ships backed up out there, right? Like,
yeah, there's some of them are still waiting just to go into Oakland. I think we have a steel ship and a fertilizer ship that is still sitting in the bay waiting to come down the Delta to come to us.
Wow.
But we had 5 ships in last week, and we were just pumping rebar, We got some bagged fertilizer and then bagged soy that they make
For the soy boys?
feed. They made feed with, for like
Oh.
dog food and all that kind of different stuff. And then we got a continuous thing of cement that we keep doing.
Yeah.
So-
And for the record, these aren't soy tits, these are pot tits. Anyways, what do you call it? That's like family members of mine are worried about that. And that's the thing though, is like that mistrust or that disgust ends up getting transferred over there. But it's like, it can be, and I get it. Like I've seen stupid stuff from unions, so like I understand like
Oh, yeah.
people's frustrations with it
My
entirely.
wife's union is a crap union. I mean, she's a nurse, but the guy who's in charge, he doesn't do anything. He
Mhm.
just sits there and pontificates and then tries to placate everybody. But when the time comes, then they need him to stand up for him, like when they're given trash bags instead of actual coverings to use in the beginning of the pandemic. And then they were also given one mask, and they had to put that mask in a paper bag between rooms when you're not even supposed to say wear the same mask in all the different rooms. It's just nobody's standing up. And then at some point, the hospital realizes, well, we're going to either pay travelers about $75,000 for 6 weeks of work, or we can actually just give in to the nurses a little bit and help them out.
Right.
And that's where they're kind of at right now. But they're still somewhat of a standoff because they're still not really taking care of them.
Yeah. I feel so bad for medical workers, especially with like how, I don't know. I mean, like they're pushed so hard, and we could have been out of this by now. And then for just so many different mishandlings, they're still in it like all the time, and that's fucking terrible.
Yeah.
So make
my
your Star
guilt
Wars
over
movies. Stop complaining. You're not a nurse. God.
My personal guilt for why can't I help more with this is to just not be part of the problem. Like, I'll just stay home, like I'll stay home as much as humanly possible. And I don't care how much I want to go for a walk in the park. I don't trust those people. Not where I'm at. I mean, Idaho's got the lowest vaccination rate in the whole country. So
Really?
Yeah. And believe me, if I said once I get my car, I have to go somewhere, the mask is right here, right? But the minute you go out there, it's like everyone's like, "Oh no, we're fine," while the morgues are filling up. Like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah,
it's just,
they are.
So I mean, like if the workers got it the hardest, this is like our World War III in a way, and just watching what soldiers go through.
I hope so. I hope this is it. I hope this isn't just
well, it's not, but it's not a one-pronged attack. It's not just the pandemic, it's the disinformation.
Yeah.
It's a lot of different things happening at once. And this really reminds me of, again, 100 years ago, but if you add technology and a giant, uneducated, a public that loves to not know. Right. I love to not know. I love that speech too, but the sad reality is a lot of people just love to not know about shit. They want to feel. They want to, they want to believe. They want, God, what was that phrase we were using? Manifest yesterday?
Yeah.
So how like when you you buy like a Volkswagen Bug, all of a sudden all you see is Volkswagen Bugs and you've never seen them before. Yesterday I saw manifest on 3 of my friends like posts, and I was mute. Like,
Ski-Doo.
Show.
You're all gonna see Ski-Doos now. Ski-Doos.
There's a lot of people out there with this manifest thing where they just think, I believe it'll happen, so I'll make it happen. Like, I don't. It's not gonna. Go watch Breaking Bad. Like,
no,
like,
my wife does that too. She's got manifest good things.
I get it. You don't want to put bad juju out in the world. Also understand that like that ain't. If you want. Look, man, if Jason wants a PS5, he's been putting it out there for a while. It ain't happening.
I know. I want an Xbox.
No,
I'm
and that kind of thing. Xbox. It is completely like, you know what I mean? Like, want to be a better person, or want to be a, better artist or whatever. You can manifest things by going, I'm going to accept it. But when it's like, oh, I don't want to be on welfare, manifest. It's like, That's not really. That's a completely. Unfortunately, that is a different set
It's
of
a-
failings.
yeah.
That's not manifestation. But yeah, and so, anyways, to take it back to the unions over here, I I am just looking at how at it so far, and I think I didn't really plan on doing this episode to be about this, but I think we'll probably end up having to do another one where we actually like delve into it a bit more, and with more facts of the current situation. It does look like it's going to happen. And Nolan asked the question, will the strike shut down post production on projects like Kenobi and Andor, or does ILM take care of that stuff?
Mm.
And I do have to say, I do not think it will. I want to, and I have a feeling that what they will simply do, unfortunately, if it did go that way, was they would just farm it overseas. That's what they would essentially end up doing in that instance. Now, the shows that we end up on the not the chopping block, meaning they're canceled, but it's stuff like that hasn't filmed yet. Stuff like Ahsoka, and also depending on the length of it. Well, I don't know if it. I don't think it is a worldwide union, so I don't think it would affect Pinewood Productions. But it could also mean that we see stuff that was going to be filmed over here being moved over to England to film instead. And that could mean massive changes in the people working on the show. But you know what I mean? Like I could be wrong, but I've always heard that Favreau has a family here, and Favreau does not interested in filming a movie in England for the most part, and will likely never do it if he doesn't have to. And so Mandalorian season 3, let's just pretend it happens right now. I don't know if he would if he would be up for jumping over to England to continue. But I also kind of think that you also put people like Favreau in a precarious position, because if they were to go and do that, that crew is never going to love you again. You are going to be known, not a scab, but whatever the equivalent of a scab is, you have just become.
Was it Kramer was on strike for 30 years at a bagel shop in Seinfeld? You remember that one? He never crossed the line, though. He went back and they're like, sure, you can have your fucking, like, whatever. Like, the strike's over, you win. All right.
Max asked, you don't think Disney would compensate their studios? Sorry, just jumped on. That is more or less the industry issue, is that certain positions are just drastically underpaid and overworked.
And they certainly aren't going to be the first.
No.
Like, if they had to, they'll do it, but why would they if no one's making them?
Yeah.
They're not moralistic. I know we like to teach them moral. They sure as shit don't do it. I mean,
really.
they ain't nothing new. It's exactly why Disney got disinterested in directing animated films, was over the strike, which he lost. I highly recommend. What book did I read on that? It was this History of Walt Disney book. It's really good.
There's actually a really good podcast. I wish I knew what it was called, but I remember looking in. I think I looked up one time, is Walt Disney an anti-Semite? And in it was a whole podcast about the fair and unfair anti-Semitism of Walt Disney, and it went into the unions really, really in depth in it. It was really good.
He
That
felt
might be
betrayed.
Theories of the Third Kind podcast, because I know there was an episode they did on Walt Disney.
He said he felt betrayed by it, and he was forced to rehire the people who started it all, but he just became disinterested in doing anything there at the animation studio after that. Went back to his home, started building trains, and that's what led to. So Disneyland exists because
He wanted to have
unions.
space for his train.
No, because he hates unions. The whole reason why Disneyland exists is because Disney hated unions. Like that's it. Like that's the front of it, like. So
yeah, there's a I don't know where this quote comes from. I feel like an asshole for even bringing it, but it's so important to just the general conversation today. And it's that in America, anything can happen, but the problem is with that, people will believe anything. And that's kind of, and that you really do see that with the pandemic, and you really do see it's really great. It's a great notion that you have the ability to dream that you will be a millionaire, but you won't be. And that's what drives me crazy. Is I could literally probably say to everybody on this stream, you probably won't be, unless you're one of those people with a badass semi-retirement kind of thing. But let's just be real. Yeah.
I have a very close family member who grew up in LA, right? And they had lofty dreams for themselves, but they never actually applied any of that, right? In real life.
Mm-hmm.
So they get to a point in their life where they're not doing very well financially. And this person tells me, I just never saw myself being poor. I'm like, perhaps if you even worked, like if you just ever got a job. I mean, I'm not saying that would have helped you not be poor, but college, anything. Like the person they just always thought money would just come to them somehow.
Yeah.
This magical thinking thing. Now I know my situation where I worked my fucking ass to a bone, and then I realized I'm just making this other person millions of dollars. I'm not even being paid $100,000. I'm not even being paid enough to barely afford rent in Linda Vista. I lived in this apartment for 12 years, bro, with the helicopter going overhead, looking for fucking felons, every fucking day, wondering like, is this life now? Like, am I just stuck doing this forever while this guy gets more Lambos? This, what do you do then?
Yeah. Yeah. No, that is the, I think we're kind of coming back around to the 1970s. Remember in the 70s, like unions were a big deal. You know, those movies with like Sally Field and shit. But what I've always heard that unions were massively kneecapped when Reagan ended the PATCO strike. Said, if you don't go to work, the air traffic controllers, I'll have you arrested. And with that, it sent a message that you're not that powerful. And and with that, like it really did change like the face of unionization. And then you look at Hollywood after that. What do you get? Gung Ho. That's like the last Gung Ho, right? But I mean,
well, Gung Ho was we're getting taken over, so join them. They're smarter than us anyway, so that's just the better.
That's what I'm saying. That's kind of the capstone.
So the capstone to that really is Die Hard.
Simulation complete.
Yeah, Nakatomi Plaza didn't fare so well.
Talking my car to Swiss cheese.
Star Wars in game says, I want to build gaming computers like I was 3 years ago, but a graphics card cost as much as all the other components combined.
Because of crypto assholes.
It may be years before I can have that hobby back. Yeah, I'm right there with you. That's why this show locks up all the time. Because I would love to go and build a really great PC and run the show off of it instead of my Mac laptop that I got for blogging, essentially. But I really don't make enough off of the Patreon to afford a $3,000 graphics card to put into that PC right now.
Or just you have to spend $3,000 on a PC from a company that was able to buy the cards in bulk where you're not paying that rate, which is what I had to do last year. I saved up my money, some of my Crash Bandicoot money, and got this PC out of Origin. It's nice because they ship it in a wooden crate, like the Ark of the Covenant. So I was playing the theme song when it was coming in. I'm like, all right. But, and then the fragile jokes, they never end because I'm fucking old. But the only reason why I was able to get an RTX card was I had to buy a whole new PC, plus the top tier with the fucking extra whatever to get it, the warranties. Otherwise, you're spending $5,000 for the card alone because of crypto machines. I mean, something's got to be done about that. I love the idea of a non-localized whatever currency that someone can't take from you, but the fact of the matter is, it's just the grossest amount of waste I've ever come across. Like when you really figure out how much power, resources, and money go into people, like essentially it's internet pogs. Let's just be honest, right? They're pogs.
Yeah, well, I mean, it does seem like I am like I said, like Lucas, I get it. I don't want things to be stupid, but regulation is usually in the public's favor. Usually, sometimes it's stupid, but usually it's in the public's favor. And yeah, it's crypto should be run on Raspberry Pis if you ask me. that should be about the max, and that way you don't really need all of the best gaming computer ever just to farm currency. But
who'd have thought that the death of consoles wouldn't be people wanting to buy them? It's that you couldn't manufacture the components because people are generating fake currency. I don't know, man. Like, that's the weirdest.
How am I supposed to get the Oasis, bro?
Right? The irony, James says, hey, James, how's it going? The irony of Star Wars is that Lucas getting sequel and merch rights has guaranteed that no creatives will ever own their creations, which is sad. And that's where we end up in that really weird, also like another switcheroo, which this one I am very mixed on, but copyright was not supposed to be forever. It used to be when you create it. Yeah. It's like, can you imagine if a family in whatever Rome or some shit owned like Prometheus? Like you know what I mean? Like the myth was
we own the wheel, Germans. We've made the wheel.
Yeah. It's very bizarre. You know what I mean? And like the idea,
the Middle East is not rich on oil; they're rich on arithmetic. Like,
but the idea was supposed to be that you had your time to make your money in your lifetime. And then now it belonged to everyone. And it's yeah, and then that clearly is not going to be that has changed. That's never going to go back that way. Those corporations are never going to be like, you know what, we're going to give this up. And there was even some how we talked about how there was that rumor that Lucas did the special editions to hold the copyright, but also to change the deal with Marsha Lucas, where now she wouldn't be getting proceeds from the special editions because it's a different movie, a different cut and everything. Well, I don't know if that's true or not, but another thing was supposedly that if the special editions came about, because that was the 20th anniversary of the patent or copyright or whatever. And by going and doing it, they were able to extend it for another 20 years. Things have changed a lot since then though. And that, but I just think that, but we could see this moving the goalpost. It is the American legacy. It is deep in our roots and in our blood. And I don't think we're going to be fixing it anytime soon, but we might be able to make it a little bit better. And it would be really, really good if I don't know what fans can do to help them, but I do think probably the most thing that we can do is, in terms of the social media era, is to push their story and what they're dealing with more. Like when you see an article written about it that is not bullshit, give it a retweet. You know what I mean? Let it be known that everyone's watching. And if you fuck these people over, people aren't going to be super happy with you. There's a part of me that says we live in a world full of giant man children, and they will still watch their Ahsoka TV show. They don't really care if those people ever, get to see their families ever again. They want their fucking comic books shoved down their throat. That's probably somewhat true, but at the same time, I don't know what the fandom would be willing to do for them, but
nothing.
But I hope I'm wrong.
Absolutely.
No, but I mean, I do.
Weaver.
If their demands, I think very reasonable demands aren't met, you may see people unsubscribing to Disney Plus and Netflix and Hulu and HBO Max and all that shit. And then they're going to get double fucked when it comes back around and there's no content in a year. So, you know what I mean? It's like, they do need to realize that they need these people. And, but hopefully they can meet at a place that solves the workers' problem and also is fair to the corporation to be a profitable entity that makes money.
They need to make sure they just get the word out farther than they think they do, because it's just, I imagine, we're supporting them, we want them to get support, but if I went up and down my block and I started talking to everybody in each house and asked them about it, I don't think any of them would know.
No, and that would probably be weird. Like, here, knock on the door.
Well,
I'm going to talk to you about Hollywood and issues. But yeah, no, I get what you're saying though. Yeah.
All I see is the scene from Big Lebowski when the Jesus had to go door to door. Let everyone know,
Yeah. But I mean, hey, if it brings back Double Dare, I guess it's what we had to do to get Double Dare back. And when it does come back, if my kids do not put their hands up that nose and get that flag in like 2 seconds, because it's so easy. But it's just weird because they were just like, I don't know what I'm like. This is Double Dare. Like you trained for this.
Available?
What's that?
Isn't Mark Summers still available?
God,
true.
I find him fascinating guy.
True story. I always got Mark Summers and Mark Harmon interchanged when I was a kid. I thought they were the same guy. They look alike, got the same fucking. I was like, is it the same? I think it's the same guy. Summer School.
Summer School doing on this show.
Yeah. He's the movie didn't do so well. So whenever I hear a complaint about Mark Harmon, to this day I'm like, the Double Dare guy. Wait,
Mr. Shoop.
Well, no. Did you? I mean, I'm sure you guys ever hear that he is like Howie Mandel levels of OCD.
Kind of looks a little Howie Mandelish if you just shave the hair off. They got similar.
But I mean, a guy. Like the idea that a guy with insane, like I shouldn't say insane,
watching
but
all that messiness going on.
Yeah, levels of OCD is on Double Dare. Like that's
that feels like that's like a Mr. Show or what was it, the Larry Sanders Show like moment.
That needs to be a Netflix show by itself. Or a good the what's his name? Mark Summers.
Mark Summers.
The Mark Summers story. I need that Lifetime movie. I want
a good Key and Peele sketch where you just see through his eyes and he's just sweating and just like palpitations and the slime comes out on a kid.
Yeah.
No, they make a story about him, a movie. They got to be Ian Ziering too. Who's going to play him?
I'll probably get sued for this one, but allegedly, a friend of mine told me allegedly he went to Mexico and to a place where they have the donkey shows, and Ian Ziering allegedly was partying his ass off there, fucking and rocking it with busted sex workers. Like not like I'm on 90210 level, like I'm a trucker level, like lot lizard level,
3s and 4s.
From where I was told, you might be kind right now. You might be being kind.
No, there was a podcast. There was a podcast I heard, and it's a guy who used to be a federale there, and now he's like a consultant for security services here in the U.S. But he's like, yeah, I went to the donkey show, and I didn't think it was real, and somebody took me there, and he actually did film it, and he showed folks on the podcast that it actually did happen, and it's right in TJ. It's right down in TJ.
Yeah, that's wild, man.
And the girls there were not much to be desired.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty horrible when you step away and look at the reality of it.
Yeah.
But when you also step away and you imagine Steve from 90210 just partying his ass off like there's no tomorrow with this 90210 bucks in Mexico, he's like, I'm not 90210 rich. I am Bezos rich right now.
Yeah, he's got the dollar bill gun.
Bezos rich partier, but hey, he gave a Sharknado, and I appreciate that. Kind of
true.
It's in 3D.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, but what a world we live in. But I do hope that if the studios generally come to sort of a consensus about how to alleviate a lot of the hardship that they're putting onto their workers, because if they, a little goes a long way. And if they just try to be hard asses and try to like show off to their friends who went to Yale and Harvard business schools and shit like that about what a big corporate dick they could swing and how they don't bend to the will of the worker, they're going to be fucking sorry. And I also think that if they don't figure this out, a lot of those people, I hope, but I don't think they're going to be here in a few years. A lot of the corporate cats that are controlling it, because it's going to be dark times going forward when there's no fucking content. Still going to be a pandemic going on where most people aren't going to go to your fucking theme parks. You know what I mean? Who have half a brain are going to be like, I don't know. I think I'm going to go there right now. And
that's where Fortnite cleans up, baby.
No,
hey, we got some skins for you.
That's true. That's true.
That's right.
They haven't even tapped into Hanna-Barbera yet. You know,
Dude, I'm not going to lie to you guys right now. I am excited to play Fortnite this weekend. It's all I plan on doing. I'm just gonna play Fortnite. If your kid doesn't have homework, I need the Murtats and my rigs.
He will be playing tonight, because here's what happened the other day. He's like, Dad, do you see that? They have Fortnite tournaments. And so he looked up on the iPad the Fortnite tournament schedule. And he's like, Dad, do you think, because I'm better than a lot of people I play with. I think I need to do it, because then we win money, and then we can buy our own new Xbox.
I think I believe in him.
He cares. He's such a giver. But
but I think he can do it.
I think so too. Honestly, they say it's free to enter, so I'm just gonna let him do it.
I picked up on a very interesting thing the last couple of days in my own family here, is that my daughter, by the way, my 6-year-old daughter, is probably the best person at Fortnite I have ever met in my life. And my son started playing before her because he's older, right? Mm-hmm. And so she kind of came up like, oh, this is the thing I need to learn. And she fucking learned it.
Little thumbs.
Yeah, there was a game that I played with my son, your son, and my daughter, and the three of us dudes got wiped out just cleanly. And she goes in there and picks them all off and gets our cards, takes us to the van, and resurrects us. And I was like, damn, you're a hard little killer, Penny. You know what I mean? But so I'm saying, your son, my daughter, let's get rich. Let's become pageant moms of Fortnite, if you will.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, whatever they have to do in Fortnite, that's the equivalent of sticking their hand up that nose and getting that flag. You're going to do it. No, but
it'd be the perfect Oculus Quest game,
right?
It's all tactile, guys. Double Dare. I'm telling you.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Except for the slide. You'd have to pull yourself up. It's the feet thing. It's the
Double Dare VR. I'm in. Do
exactly.
it. Not really that gross stuff, but because you're not really touching stuff. Oh, you could do it though. You could make the here's the thing. Oh, gross.
But just the outline of a couple of things. Yeah.
Star Wars The Game says left field. Jason, how about a Star Wars parody of the Fraggle Rock theme song?
Damn,
dude,
Fraggle Rock.
I gotta be honest. I could make Star Wars parody theme songs for the rest of my life every day with my free time.
But man, DMCA'd.
Yep.
NBC fucking went at it hard, and I was just like, I'm not gonna fight it, because what are you gonna do? It's still up there, but it's all flagged and shit, and I'm just like, man, Different Strokes is cool though. They didn't care. Different Snokes, they were like, you got that one. You could have that one. But for some reason, Saved by the Bell, as if Saved by the Bell is like, oh, we must defend Saved by the Bell.
Yeah, this is your one free one, Jason. Okay.
Yeah.
One free one. After that, you have to pay.
Yeah. I don't actually know the words to Fraggle Rock, but I sing it at my kids' faces all the time and just make up new words all the time. I don't know. Once you get past the dance cares away, troubles for another day. Down there, Fraggle Rock. After that, it goes into some other shit. I don't even know what it is.
Yeah.
Your hands smell like apples. Go wash up. Get the freaking. Go wash your hands.
Yeah.
Apple kid. It's always that kid on the playground who smells of apples. I can't ever get it out my fucking head. Till the day it'll be the last thing I think of on the face of this earth when I'm shuffling off to the ether realms. I'm gonna be like the kid with the apples. Could never fucking. It's disgusting.
Better than
Can't bathe.
Oh god, better than how fifth graders smell. I was like picking up my kid from school the other day, and they all have different gates, and I'm like walking by like the fifth graders, like 100 degrees outside, and I was like, oh my god, this smells like a fucking dude's balls at the YMCA or something, and coming out of a sauna or something. Those little
That's
stinky
the new scent
fuckers.
from Axe.
People are like,
Oh.
oh, we like it when there's Star Wars news, so we don't have to hear about this stuff. Like, because I was immediately drawn back to that ball pit at Chuck E. Cheese.
I'm pretty
You're
sure,
like, "Ooh, this is a bad idea. They won't let you out. You have to be in there for 3 minutes." Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
Luke is an Axe guy.
at Lakewood Mall, me and my best friend were ditching school one time. Security saw us. We saw him come for us. We ran, ducked into a Burger King, jumped into the ball pit. And then we just stayed there like the whole day until school was done. We just hung out in the ball pit. And every now and then some kids would show up. We're like, 15 probably. Some kids would like jump in there and be like, what are you doing in here? Playing in the ball pit. Okay. the employees would come by this like look at us like are they big enough that they should not be in there? Do I say
You're
something?
not technically loitering, because what can you do in a ball pit?
Just loiter.
That's the whole point of the ball pit.
Yeah. And then some story came out saying that there was gonorrhea and herpes virus and all this stuff in there, and they got rid of them all. It's like, if that was actually true in a dangerous way, I'm pretty sure we would all have herpes and gonorrhea and syphilis or whatever the fuck they found in there. Yeah. It's probably somebody who's like, I don't wear the mask because I want to build up my immunity. It's the same reason I licked the bottom of a ball pit.
Give it to me.
That's why I'm alive today. That's why I survived COVID 2
Natural
times.
immunity, sir.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm going to be following this story on unions, and like I said, hopefully everything works out. That is the dream scenario, is that everything just works out fine. But I also know that what is it? Is it Murphy's Law? Yeah, remember that. Remember old Murphy's Law, and Moore's Law, because we're all going to be living in the Matrix unless we create cryptocurrency and can no longer make processors, because we are just making the same ones over and over and over and over again to.
And
farm.
Snoke's Law, when in doubt, clone.
Snoke's
Right?
Law.
Yeah, Snoke's Law. Just clone. That's it. Clone your troubles away. Dun dun. Prequels for another day.
Did you see that Andy Serkis was said he was pretty devastated about being killed? And
The character,
Twitter
man.
story?
Snoke being killed.
Snoke.
No, his ghost was like, I am
All
devastated.
CGI characters have not been treated well by the Star Wars universe, I gotta say. In the long term, they just haven't.
And
You
I
kind
can make
you
the
can't-
ghost party.
Yeah, you kind of have a point. You really do kind of have a point. Maz Kanata was vastly underplayed. Jar Jar Binks, nothing needs to be said there about that. And Watto. I mean, they at least put some fucking flies on Watto's face and said, bye, bitch. But I mean, yeah. I mean, it in terms of like main characters or heroes or
Even
villains,
CGI Yoda got tossed out the door for puppet Yoda.
I'm gonna say CGI Yoda he got put in the movies he wasn't in before. He did okay.
He got Dennis
Shit
Lawson.
with you.
They just punted him right out the saga. They put a puppet right back in. And they even made a whole new series about a puppet baby Yoda, just to prove a point.
just to make a point. Yeah.
Teach that fucking computer a lesson. Rob Coleman's like, ooh, I can't paint puppets. I'm with the computers.
No, but to go back to Andy Serkis, like I totally get where he's coming from. Understand, especially when your expectations that like you're like the new emperor.
They
then
got
you find
Gollum.
out you're
Hold on.
not, but
They got Gollum to be their new CGI character, right? Which, look, you're making a power move at that statement, right? You're saying, hey, we already have a guy who knows how to do CGI mocap. We didn't get him. sad to say, but we went and got the one everyone remembers, sad to say, and then sad to say, we fucking threw him away. Like,
Yeah, but what I'm gonna say is that before episode 9, he was involved in one of the bravest story attempts in all of it that has ever been done. The idea of killing Snoke in that moment was ballsy, and it wasn't just shock value. It was actually forcing the toothpaste out of the tube, and then in episode 9 they tried to put it back in the tube. but in a different tube.
That's just a big mess.
They tried to take the toothpaste and put it in the other tube that was called like Spearmint Palpatine, and they tried to put it in there, and it just was like, what? But
I'm terribly sorry about all of this.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, it was a weird thing. So on one hand, I do feel bad for him. On the other hand, though, I'm like, between getting to be Gollum and what's his name in Planet of the Apes, I'm like, yeah, okay, you're all right. You'll do all right.
I like him as Claw in the Marvel movies.
Mhm.
I like him as that character. It's a shame they killed him, but I enjoy that guy. The energy he has in that role. I'm like, I don't know what this character's gonna do next.
Yeah,
You just don't. I mean, he gets his whole hand cut off and he keeps going.
Yeah, that's true.
He's got a wily. He's playing Alfred, right, in the new Batman movie.
Yeah, he is.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
By the way, the other day before the show, when I watched the Mario thing with Chris Pratt, and I was like, it doesn't really matter because he's going to go, it's me, Mario. Who gives a shit who does it, right?
No one will replace Lou Albano.
No, but then when I started to see, like, when I saw like the rest of the cast, I was like, whoa, this is pretty fucking crazy.
I like Jack Black as Bowser. I'm glad that they're not doing
and like we talked about
They're giving him personality this time.
Peach casting is great in terms of like that she could be that in live action. You know what I mean?
She's got manga eyes. She can do it. Like,
Yeah, that's a woman. But
it's a voice. My friend was going, I don't like Hollywood casting for it never works. I'm like, Toy Story, except for that one. You know, I was like, all of the Incredibles. It's Incredibles. It was you. You were my friend who was complaining.
No, it doesn't work for me. It doesn't work. For
Incredibles. Incredibles is all Hollywood casting.
That's Craig T. Nelson.
Should have got Dauber. That's all I'm going to say. Should have got Dauber. Don't get Coach.
No,
get
Dauber's
Dauber.
doing.
Jason Lee.
Dauber's being Patrick.
What?
Is it Dauber's too busy being Patrick and SpongeBob?
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Good on you, Dauber. I love Dauber.
Dude, Monsters Inc. John Goodman and Billy Crystal.
Yeah.
Like, come on, like, guys. Like, this is what I'm just trying to say. Like, it's nothing new, and the people have liked plenty of films. I think they just the Imagination Studios is considered like a B-class series of films. Which I say, if you think that's the case, go back and rewatch fucking Ants from DreamWorks. Like, I dare you to sit through that shit.
Or a Bug's Life.
Well, I mean, it really had to do with the very strange Japanese influenced rollout of the information. He's so cool. Like that stuff. You're like, what? What is that? Like that's not how we do it here. And so when their presentation was that, it ends up playing out. You know,
what didn't help was him going on the internet and trying to do it to Miyamar. Like, don't do that. It's Miyamaro. Like, don't get the trailer. Don't do that because then it just doesn't look right.
Yeah,
it's kind of weird.
No, I also saw a lot of people going like that guy's Italian, blah blah blah, and it was like, I don't think Mario was ever played by an Italian anyway. So it's like kind of a, it's
Bob Hoskins ain't Italian, and people don't know John Leguizamo ain't either.
What? What? Leguizamo, Leguizolini, right? That was his name, right? That's his name.
Someone was saying Mario's last name is Itsumi, so you would say it first, Itsumi Mario, like because his last name is Mario Itsumi, and I was like, that's fucking. I never thought of that. Like,
that's classic. Yeah.
Yeah. All these years.
Star Wars Game says, what would you do if you find out the Vax is some X-Files shit? You know, I would depend. I mean, am I turning into an alien? Am I sterile? Because if I'm sterile, that's great.
Do I get to meet the smoking man?
Yeah. Do I get to smoke more?
You still get herpes if you're sterile, just so you know.
Oh,
I read alternative facts on Facebook. I read that is not true.
How is that not the new Mad magazine? Can we start that?
Alternative
Can we
facts.
do a Mad magazine spoof of everything? A spoof magazine just called alternative facts.
alternative facts and ideas.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, my favorite thing of the week is still that ivermectin tampon. Oh, I love it. Just that has to be the best. So sad if it's real. Part of me thinks it's not, but if any aspect of that is real.
The only made up rumor I ever fell for was I wasn't gonna bring this is funny, was the Jar Jar Binks merchandise killing someone once in the warehouse.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And that's because, and I've told the story before, but I worked at Playco, in 96, 97, and I went to their warehouse and I saw how they would have all the return Spawn toys, right, would sit in these giant, like, they'd be what was that? The plastic wrap right around the pallets. Cellophane,
Yeah.
all the way to the roof. And when I say the roof, I'm talking about the warehouse roof. So this is like 2.5 stories tall. And I would go, man, if this fell, death by Spawn figures.
Yeah.
Right? Well, 2 years later, when that rumor hit, I was like, oh, it fell. Was it Playco? It's like, I believed if that fell, it would kill someone, but it was fake.
Yeah. What was that? Was it like the first time you came across the Onion or something, or was it just something else?
No, it was legitimately, like, everyone was reporting on it, but the internet
Okay.
wasn't prepared for that sort of, because it was like on IGN and it was like on AOL News and that stuff.
Yeah.
Yahoo.
My favorite story, which I think actually ended up being real, was the radio guys who were promising a Toyota if you could like win their contest. And when the woman shows up to get her car, it's a Toyota, the talking Toyota toy from 1999.
Yeah.
And then I heard that she ends up suing them, and the radio station had to buy her a car. Wouldn't be
That's
surprised if-
true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny though.
Because they had to sell the shitload out of those cars. You know how hard it is to sell a car, let alone be out there fucking hustling.
Yeah.
And they give you a little fucking doll.
Remember when the lady died of drinking too much water to win a Wii?
Oh yeah, but they told us that in the military
Mm-hmm.
because they make you chug 2 canteens, like especially during basic when they're trying to flush it. But they're like, and there's all these signs that were up, warning: don't drink too much water.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, you can drink too much water? And they're like, bro, too much anything will kill you. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, duh. Death by pixie sticks. That's my dream.
It's
Especially
just
the
like
ones you get you get at the Seaport Village with the really long one, right?
Yeah.
I just want like a whole like that's
Or
Oh,
you can
I've done
make
it,
a
friend.
sandwich like the Breakfast Club. where
I
you put, like,
remember-
Captain Crunch in it.
I remember a couple of stories of that. I remember hitting a kid across the face with one, and it stung and it left like a thing. And I also remember doing actually probably on the same sugar high doing this, putting it into my mouth and just being like, I can't throw this shit. It was just so much. And I was like, yeah.
yeah.
And that's
And now they eat Tide Pods,
This.
so,
That's how you end up.
You're right.
I mean, I'm
They
eating
lick ice
Tide
cream and put
Pods
it back.
and taking ivermectin tampons for men. For men. It's in a blue box now.
A generation of kids who ate Play-Doh grew up to do this. Are you shocked?
Or you could be like the homeless guy that I saw this morning who just walked in and grabbed a pair of shoes and just started walking back out.
Well, hey, good on him.
So, sad part is half the time they do it because they get better treatment in the jail than they do on the street. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they usually get them. Yeah, today's the day that release them. Yeah.
Out here we have like there's a pretty famous story like out in Irvine. A lot of homeless people from various areas will travel out towards Irvine because they supposedly put you up in a motel room for the night, and then they promptly pick you up in the morning and drive you to another city and drop you off there. Because
did you not see Rambo: First Blood?
right? Hey, I just wanted to get something to eat. Is there where to eat in this town?
Nope. Yeah, 20 miles that way in the rain.
Still want that fucking Quentin Tarantino, Adam Driver, First Blood. That would be so good.
At the very least, can you write the book and just paint Adam Driver as Rambo on the cover?
Like Rambo was getting shot constantly because his chest was that of a wall.
Well, it's supposed to be a good
or he
book to
could
begin
do
with,
the
wasn't
audio. Sorry.
it? No worries. Go ahead.
Oh, he can do the audio novel, just so I can have some ASMR Kylo reading me Rambo lines, you know?
Yeah. But yeah, well, you guys think we did it today?
We did something.
I think we did it. I
Not
think
sure what it was, but it's here. It's on record.
Yeah. I think we did it. The chat has gone quiet, which means we've officially got too weird. I think we lost everybody at Ivermectin tampon. That's cool. You know, but I want to thank everyone for hanging out with us in the chat as always, and thank you for being Patreon and channel member supporters. It is what allows the show to happen.
You're
and
welcome.
If you like the show and you think I deserve a little bit of that sweet cash, by all means become a supporter of the show. It is appreciated.
And I just want to say before we leave that they're going to miss this shit when there's nothing but Star Wars news for us to talk about.
Oh yeah, right. No, I mean I know a couple of it, and have a good weekend, Santa. And
bye bye.
I'm gonna catch Santa's show because I was doing the interview while he was doing his show today. But make sure
today. It was good.
Yeah, and head over and watch Santa's show if you didn't catch it, and subscribe to his channel. And one thing I need to start reminding people to do is to like these videos. And one other thing I always want to say too is if you watch the show or listen this whole time and you're like, I didn't get to watch it live, leave a comment if it is something that you really wanted to see addressed. And I get it. I usually screenshot it if I don't forget. I usually don't. And then we'll bring it up on the next one, like our buddy Eric, who brought up the Chasing Amy thing. These shows don't have to be isolated SEO focused things. I don't give a shit.
Do we not have the banner anymore on the bottom that scrolls by?
I could turn the banner on, but I had the banner off when I was afraid of. I didn't know why it was misbehaving, doing what it wants to.
I think that's a
Not
good way
working?
to keep the Patreon and the leave your comments and all that stuff up on there the whole time. And
Yeah,
I mean, and then it will force Jesse to sit up. So
yeah, I'm like, get up, Jesse. The
what if he's
Patreon
like
thing's
9
doing
feet
us.
tall when I meet him one day? Hey, motherfucker! I'm like, oh shit!
He's like, hey, he's all, now you look up.
Rob, you and I got to talk.
But
I don't really do anything. I'm kind of pathetic. I got a little dick. That's a good place to end it.
Get the fuck out of here.
And I just want everybody to know he's not lying. Rob does have a little dick.
It's not about spaceships.
Making Star Wars Show. Making Star Wars Show. Making Star Wars Show. Making Star Wars Show.
It's not about spaceships.